right. I'm excited to share with you guys about this. This is something I am personally very interested in. So I did not rig the poll, but you all have helped me. Roman, I'm grateful for you here. 6 months. All right. Turn this.
Don't even know what that is? Well, lucky for you, you're in for a treat.
You're about to get educated.
Yes.
So, Library of Alexandria. Let's pull it up so you guys can see what I'm seeing.
It's a magic library.
Alright, and these alerts are very large. So
Very large.
Thunderstorm, welcome back for 18 months in a row, my friend.
And non-stop doodle, how you doing 15 months in a row?
Yo, grateful to have you guys here with us. Alright, I wish all these ads were not so abundant on these pages, so you guys are going to have to hang tight for just 1 second.
Yes.
Let me crop this out, because I'm not trying to...
Living that ad life. So many little things. Anyway, well, it is an early morning here, and it is a little after 10 a.m. here in Los Angeles, California. Happy Tuesday, everyone. It's kind of crazy that it's already February, right? But January did seem exceptionally long. Like a long month.
All right.
Captain on the bridge, I'm glad you're here and chilling with us.
There we go. That'll work. Let's put this over here.
So who likes libraries?
Who likes libraries?
You a
Everyone
fan
should
of-
like
Well,
libraries.
some people don't.
How can you not like
I don't want
libraries?
to blanket everybody in a
No,
library
if you
loving place.
don't like libraries, get the off the stream. Who would show up for Curiosity Chill that doesn't like libraries?
Somebody who might not.
No.
I don't know.
You
I don't know. I
all-
don't want to generalize.
I am generalizing
Okay,
right now.
lots of love.
Every single one of you likes libraries. And if there's anybody here who doesn't like libraries, you're about to. Let's learn about this, the most famous library of classical antiquity. So this is on the Encyclopedia Britannica page, and I'm going to share this with
official.
I'm going to share this with the moderators so that they can share it with you in case you'd like to read ahead or behind us. So, the Library of Alexandria is the most famous library of classical antiquity. It formed part of the Research Institute of Alexandria in Egypt that is known as the Alexandrian Museum, or the Shrine to the Muses. And for any of you who are in, let's say, I don't know, university or college, this was the beginning of such studied institutions. The entire notion that people would live and eat and study together in one place is based off of the Library of Alexandria, which is in Alexandria, Egypt. And anybody want to take a guess at who might have been out there creating the Library of Alexandria? Maybe there's a hint in the name somewhere. Anybody want to guess? Who? Who is it? Alexander? Yes, but which? Alexander the Great! That's right, Robot
Yes.
Toes. That is correct. Alexander the Great, who you guys may have heard of once or twice from Rome, who traveled as far as Alexandria in Egypt. He actually went further than that, but Alexandria is kind of the last main outpost. Libraries and archives were known to many ancient civilizations in Egypt, Mesopotamia, Syria, Asia Minor, and Greece, but the earliest such institutions were of a local and regional nature, primarily concerned with the conservation of their own particular traditions and heritage. So, while there were libraries and archives before the Library of Alexandria, they were concerned with things of immediate vicinity.
More local.
The idea of a universal library, like that of Alexandria, arose only after the Greek mind had begun to envisage and encompass a larger worldview. The Greeks were impressed by the achievements of their neighbors, and many Greek intellectuals sought to explore the resources of Oriental knowledge. There is literary evidence of Greek individuals visiting Egypt especially to acquire knowledge. Examples are Herodotus, Plato, particularly in Phaedrus and Timaeus, Theophrastus, and Exodus of Cnidus, as detailed by Diogenes Laertius in the 3rd century. I don't know who those people are, but their names are difficult to say. Against the background of avid hunger for knowledge among the Greeks, Alexander the Great, you all just mentioned, launched his global enterprise in 334 BCE, which he accomplished with meteoric speed until his ultimate death in 232 BCE.
323.
323. God, I'm not quite awake. So he lived to be 33 years old.
Oh, that's it.
His aim throughout had not been... but he started off as an emperor. So nobody out there nobody get down on yourself for not achieving what Alexander the Great has by age 33, because none of y'all started off as emperors, okay? His aim throughout had not been restricted to conquering lands as far from Macedonia as India, but had been also to explore them. He required his companions, generals and scholars, to report to him in detail on regions previously unmapped and uncharted. His campaigns resulted in a considerable addition to empirical knowledge of geography, as Eratosthenes, as this one guy, presumably, remarked, this is reported by the Greek geographer Strabo. This is what we get for starting off with Encyclopedia Britannica. The reports that Alexander had acquired survived even after his death, and they motivated an unprecedented movement of scientific research and study of the Earth, its natural physical qualities, and its inhabitants. The time was pregnant with new spirit that engendered a renaissance of human culture. It was in that atmosphere of the great library and Mauseon saw the light of day in Alexander. This is about Pluto, so I know this is super heady. I want to show you guys a picture so you can get excited about it in a more colorful way. So the Library of Alexandria was effectively the beginning of the university system and a compilation of knowledge from all over the region at the time. It looked like, and we don't really know what it looked like exactly besides some foundations of the buildings that are still there and uncovered in Egypt, and it was destroyed during, here we go, the burning by Julius Caesar, who followed.
Julius. Why you gotta be so Caesar?
What?
I don't know.
What does that even mean?
Just let me be.
You need more coffee. Just let me, Caesar? Yo, what's up? Thank you for the big host. I appreciate that. Welcome, everybody who's over there.
Luke Lemon Art and Kale Silva. How you doing? Wow.
Right? So, there's got to be a better way to do this. This is irritating as shit. All right, guys, I'm going to just click dragging this around. So these are all scrolls, right? And a rule of the time of Alexandria was it was a port city. And it existed between, let's want to see where Alexandria is on a map. So here is Alexandria as it exists. And it between Jackers of all trades, thank you for the big cheers.
Jactress?
So here's Cairo, which was and is the capital of Egypt. Of course, here's Israel and Jerusalem, Lebanon. And up here, Greece and Athens. So you've got Alexander the Great, who makes his conquest across the Mediterranean Sea and eventually spends some time with Cleopatra and the Egyptians in Egypt. But between the two, he founds Alexandria, and it's a huge, as you can see here in this image, a huge port city. And this means that people are traveling from around the world. There we go. And they find themselves in Alexandria, and they would like to be here in this hotbed of trade. A lot of people are, of course, merchants and trying to sell things from far away and transport them to other parts of the known world at the time. But a rule in Alexandria was that if you wanted to dock your ship in the ports of Alexandria, you had to turn over all of the maps and scrolls on your vessel to be copied down, and the original was kept in the library of Alexandria, and you were given a fresh copy of the same map or of the same scroll to take with you on your way. So people were very eager to participate in the economy of this area, and so of course they would exchange the information that they had, and so the library grew. Is the library still there? No, it was burned to the ground by Caesar. So most of these images that we see here depict it aflame.
So sad.
It is said that the entirety of Western knowledge has been set back massively because, of course, a building full of scrolls being burned equals absolutely nothing but ash. So there are ideas of the footprints of the building. There are these depictions from some books that were obviously not there. So we have ideas of why, of what it would look like. But aside from small pieces of ruins, there's nothing like what it might have been in the beginning. So I think this is absolutely incredible. So what was really cool about it is that because it was this hub for all of this knowledge from all over the known world at the time, the scholars from everywhere would come and they'd stay and study. And so they had big communal places to eat, big communal places to sleep, like dorms. They would break the different areas into different fields of study. There were also cadavers, like autopsies and medical studies done at the time. So they were doing all sorts of research, and of many disciplines radically expanded what they knew about the world because it was a combination of, like, this is what it looks like now.
Wow.
So thanks a lot, Caesar.
Jeez.
Good thing we got Caesar with his 28 stab wounds.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine going to this place? I mean, this is gorgeous.
I know.
What an idea for a place to be. All right. I just want to show you guys these images.
Kale Silva and Blue Crusher, thanks for cheering. Blue, I hope you feel better.
Yeah, thank you guys for the cheers. Grateful to have you here with us.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Oh, wow.
These are some of my favorite. Like, this image here is super cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a dream. Burst into
Julius.
flame. All right, now that you guys have a bit of a overview of what we're looking at here. So this looks like the most of the facade that is still standing. So that's as good as it gets. But these are reconstructions of what it might have looked like at the time.
Wow. That's pretty epic.
Yeah. Carl Sagan talks about this a lot in his book Cosmos and other documentaries and things. And, ooh, look at that. That's one depiction of what it might have looked like. But the notion that there were so many things that were discovered and understood about the physical and natural world that would have been archived in this building, which have since been lost and must be relearned over much time. But it was a place for debates, a place for study. It was definitely a place like, an early curiosity chill.
Ashley Cat, welcome and thanks for using your Prime. I'm curious, do we have any noobs here? Anybody here for the first time joining us?
Alright, there we go. How to quit smoking on your own terms. Completely irrelevant. Alright. Who's here for the first time? Shout yourself out in the chat. Good to see you guys. Oh, it's Marcus.
Hello.
Sweet. Marcus, welcome.
How you doing? And Emma, welcome. I'm glad you're here for your first time live. And Cherry Pies, welcome. All right, so where did we leave off? Oh, okay. Going back up. All right. I think we are about here. Against that background of avid hunger for knowledge among the Greeks, Alexander launched his global... Nope, we did this already. Yes. Okay. The time was pregnant with a new spirit that engendered a renaissance of human culture. It was in that atmosphere that the great library saw the light of day in Alexandria. The founding of the library and the Museion, am I saying that correctly, or Mausion, is unquestionably connected with the name of Demetrius of Phaleron, a member of the peripatetic school and a former Athenian politician. After his fall from power in Athens, Demetrius sought refuge at the court of King Ptolemy, and became the king's advisor. Ptolemy soon took advantage of Demetrius's wide and versatile knowledge, and about 925 BCE charged him with the task of founding the library and the Mausion. Do you think that's Mausion, Brian, or Museion? Mausion.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Mausion.
Mausion. The letter of Aristeas?
Aristeas of the 2nd century BCE reveals that the institution was conceived as a universal library, saying Demetrius had at his disposal a large budget in order to collect, if possible, all the books in the world. To the best of his ability, he carried out the king's objective. The same claim was reiterated more than once. Irenaeus spoke of Ptolemy's desire to equip his library with the writings of all men as far as they were worth serious attention. Undoubtedly, however, the largest amount of material was written in Greek. In fact, judging from the scholarly work produced in Alexandria, it seems likely that the whole corpus of Greek literature was amassed in the library, meaning that a copy of all Greek literature was at this library. One of the major acquisitions of the library was the books of Aristotle, concerning which were there of two conflicting accounts. According to Antheus, Philadelphus purchased that collection for a large sum of money, whereas Strabo reported that Aristotle's book passed on in succession through different hands until they were later confiscated in 86 BCE by Sulla, who carried them away to Rome.
Confiscated.
The two accounts perhaps deal with two different things. Antheus may have been referring to the collection of books that Aristotle had amassed at his school in Athens, which Philadelphus was able to purchase when his former tutor, Straton, was head of the Lyceum. In any case, let's discover
The hunt for books.
The hunt for books.
And Liana, back for 10 months.
Yo, what's up? And welcome back, you guys. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, everybody, for cheering as we study the greatest library of all time. Marvelous.
Quite. The fabulous stories circulated about the lengths to which the Ptolemies would go in their avid hunt for books. One method to which they reportedly resorted was to search every ship that sailed into the harbor of Alexandria. If a book was found, it was taken to the library for a decision as to whether to return it or to confiscate it and replace it with a copy made on the spot, with an adequate compensation to the owner, like you were saying. So they're like, we go and confiscate this and replace this.
Right. Yo, I Want to Believe is back for 20 months.
Wow.
Yo,
20 months.
can we get some mod love for our awesome mods who've been here since the very beginning, the dawn of time?
Love. Books acquired in that manner were designated from the ships. Another story, reported by Galen in the writing of Hippocrates, reveals how Ptolemy III managed to obtain the original texts from the great dramatic poets Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides. The precious texts were safeguarded in the Athenian state archives and were not allowed to be lent out. The king, however, persuaded the governors of Athens to permit him to borrow them in order to have them copied. The enormous sum of 15 talents of silver was deposited in Athens as the pledge for their safe restitution. The king thereupon kept the originals and sent back copies, willingly forfeiting the pledge. Wow. So books were very, very, very valuable.
Definitely.
Yes.
Taylor Pepperoni, thanks for being here for 3 months. Grateful for you. Those irregular methods of collection were supplemented by the purchase of books from different places, especially from Athens and Rhodes, which sustained the largest book market of the time. Occasionally, the library's collectors bought different versions of the same work, for example, in Homeric texts that came from Chios, from Sinope, from Mysia. So, basically, gotta have different editions, you know? Is anybody here a book collector? I'm really curious if somebody here, do you have a book that you love so much that you have it in multiple editions?
Ooh.
Of languages other than Greek, Egyptian had the largest section. Ptolemy I is said to have encouraged Egyptian priests to accumulate records of their past tradition and heritage, and to render them available for use by Greek scholars and men of letters whom he had invited to live in Egypt. Best known examples from each group were the Egyptian priest Menetheo, who had a good command of Greek, and the Greek author Hecataeus of Abdera. You do own more than one version of Harry Potter. Why am I not surprised? Multiple editions, yes. You do love to collect books. A lot of you guys are book collectors.
The Lord of the Rings, the Golden Compass.
Ooh, you have Secret History 3 copies?
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yes, you like collecting books? Cool. How do you keep your books? Do you keep them like
Shelves?
on shelves in stacks surrounding your bed all around?
Oscar Wilde, The Cursed Child and Les Miserables, Dracula. A lot of them on the shelf, some are all around. Mostly on shelves. Oh, a whole room dedicated to your books. That's cool.
That's awesome. And Lou Chan, welcome back for 3 months. I'm glad you can be here. Thank you guys for subscribing. And also, I see with your Prime, you have Amazon Prime. You can link it to Twitch for a free subscription. Yo, you have your books in alphabetical order.
Wow.
And yeah, Amelia one time did a whole recounting of our books in color coordination by our plays. We have maybe 100 plays or more that were all organized by what color they were. It looked quite nice.
It was really pretty.
So the growth of the library. The association of the library with the Mausion, which we should investigate here because we don't know what this is.
Tell
This
us
is
what
the
you are.
which is the museum itself.
It was called a Mausion.
Yeah. Museum, maybe be given the, Growth of the library. Get out of here, table of contents.
There we go.
The association of the library with the museum, whose scholars required a reliable resource, helped the library to develop in a proper research center. Its location close to the harbor and within the royal palace's grounds placed it under the direct supervision of the kings. Those circumstances aided the rapid growth of the library's collection. Within half a century of its foundation, circa 295 BCE, the collections of the Royal Library had exceeded the space allotted to contain the accumulated books. Who else has more books than they have shelves? Do you have more books than you could possibly have space for? And that's a real big problem when you have to figure out which book is not going to make it to the next round of shelving.
Oh, it seems to be a common problem.
A common problem. That's definitely you. Very good. It was found necessary to establish an offshoot that could house the surplus volumes. A whole new wing. Can you imagine having so many books that you had to build more rooms to keep your books? To that end, Ptolemy III, presumably the great-grandchild of Ptolemy I, incorporated the grandchild, I suppose, incorporated the branch library into the newly built Serapeum. Let's see what that is.
Ooh,
a temple.
Ancient temple. How exciting.
I keep looking for pictures, but then I remember that these are ancient sites that are not photographable. Stop giving me the table of contents. Okay. I'm not going to click away ever again because I'm going to lose my spot.
There we go. Growth.
Estimates of the total number of books in the library vary. The earliest surviving figure from the 3rd century BCE is reported as more than 200,000 books, whereas the medieval text of John Titsis mentions 42,000 books in the outer library, and the inner royal library 400,000 mixed books plus 90,000 unmixed books. A still higher estimate of 700,000 was reported between the 2nd and 4th centuries CE. Yo,
that's a lot of books.
That's almost 1 million books. So somewhere between 250,000 and 750,000 books.
Yeah,
amazing.
What is a mixed book?
A mixed book is a book that's about more than one topic, I would guess.
Oh.
I think an unmixed book would be like, this is a book regarding the study of, pineapples. That's ridiculous, Amelia.
I'm sure that there was a book about pineapples.
I'm sure there was. I think that flora and fauna is something, the natural world is something they studied a lot of. Amidala, thanks for the cheers. All right, the registration and classification of books. Here, this might tell us more. Galen preserved the information that was recorded for each book. It included the work's title, author, and editor, as well as its place of origin, length and number of lines, and whether the manuscript was mixed, containing more than one work, or unmixed, a single text. So, unmixed books would be, this is Taming of the Shrew. A mixed book would be the complete works of William Shakespeare. You dig? Yeah. But none of Shakespeare's work was in the Library of Alexandria. Does anyone know why?
Because he wasn't born yet.
Because he wasn't born yet. Thanks for ruining the surprise, Amelia.
Sorry, it's pretty obvious.
Spoiler alert. Almost over 1,000 years difference. It is worth noting that a scribe's pay was rated according to the quality of writing and number of lines. In an attempt to standardize costs and wages throughout the empire, Diocletian ranked a scribe's pay as follows. To a scribe for the best writing 100 lines, 25 denarii. For second quality writing 100 lines, 20 denarii. To a notary for writing a petition or legal document 100 lines, 10 denarii. House of Decautet, thank you for being here with your Prime and subscribing. Appreciate you
Yes.
very much.
So I'm curious, what kind of scribe would you be? Would you be the best scribe, getting 25 denarii, a second quality scribe getting 20 denarii, or just a simple notary? Do you have really nice handwriting or so-so handwriting? I feel like I might be a second tier one.
Oh, would you?
Yeah.
All right, what kind of scribe are you, friends? Number 1, if you're on the top shelf. Number 2, if you're second quality in your writing. And 3rd, if you're a basic B with your writing.
A basic B. I love you. You're funny.
It's the family show, after all.
Oh, we do have some top shelf.
Oh, we got some top shelfers. You guys are going to earn some serious denaries out there if you got to take good care of it. Ooh la la, yeah. Looks like most of us are just basic Bs, but honestly, statistically speaking, that makes good sense, right? It stands to reason that most of us would be basic. Some of us could be second quality, earning 20 denarii, which is
That's pretty good.
that's a handsome
Denarii.
purse, if you know what I mean. And of course, the smallest percentage, only 19% or less, are top shelf.
Top tier.
Well, here's 10 denarii to all my basic Bs. Yo, what's up? Thank you, Matteo. I appreciate you being here. Hey, everybody else. If you're here for the first time, thank you for the kind messages and the shouting out. Hello, hello. So these are our study chill streams where we spend about an hour or so studying topics that you guys request. So there were contents in a library of every field of learning, a tremendous undertaking entrusted to the Greek poet and scholar Callimachus, who was known for his encyclopedic erudition. What does that word mean?
I don't know, but it sounds fancy.
What is that word?
What do you mean?
All right, we're going to learn about words too, because I don't know what that word means. The meaning of this word is the quality of having or showing great knowledge or learning, scholarship.
Okay.
All right, so erudition.
He was known for his erudition.
You guys, you're all improving your erudition. That was a forced way to use that in a sentence, but whatever. All right. He was known for his encyclopedic knowledge. The result was that the tables, or called pinax, I'm going to go with, which has survived in only a few fragments. Those remains attest to the following divisions. So this is how they divided up the library. How do you sort 200 to 700,000 scrolls? You can scroll them into rhetoric, law, epics, tragedy, comedy, lyric poetry, history, medicine, mathematics, natural science, and my personal favorite, miscellaneous. So let's do a poll here. If we were going to have a library, a Connor Army Descartes Games library, which category would be the biggest? We can all chime in with our favorite. What would you, if you were going to make sure that there was a section that was well abided by, and epics are the long form tales, histories in the form of recounting long stories, lyric poetry. Let's go like this: history, medicine, mathematics, natural science, miscellaneous. All right, help me out, friends. We have
That's a lot.
11.
Wow.
I have to shrink that poll.
What would our Descartes Games Connor Army library be composed of?
Yes, number 1, rhetoric. Number 2, laws. Number 3, epics. Number 4, tragedy. Number 5, comedy. Number 6, lyric poetry. Number 7, history. 8, medicine. 9, mathematics. 10, natural science. And 11, miscellaneous. which is that book where you find it and you're like, how do we even sort this? And then someone's like, I think it's natural science, but it's really weird. I wouldn't put it there. No, that doesn't make any sense. It's not really poetry. It's more like miscellaneous.
Maybe it's fashion.
Fashion, I think, would go under rhetoric. Do you guys want to explore rhetoric a little more? Rhetoric, oh no, the art of speaking or writing effectively, the study of principles and rules of composition, and communication and persuasion. So yeah, fashion would be...
miscellaneous, I think. Or lyric poetry.
No.
Miscellaneous. All right, well, it seems that we would have a library of comedic, historical, natural science.
Comedic, historic, natural science?
Of miscellaneous.
Well, history is way lower than natural science. So comedic, natural science.
Yeah.
Why am I not surprised? And then miscellaneous. And then it's epic.
Yeah.
So it would be comedic, natural sciences of a miscellaneous variety told in an epic way.
Yes, that's it.
All right, very good. Its influence in this cataloging of all of the various subjects would be traced back to the Middle Ages to its brilliant 10th century Arabic counterpart, bookseller Ibn al-Nadim. Oh God, I can't even say this.
Index.
Kitab. Index.
Mm-hmm.
So this is indexing. We like indexing.
We do like indexing.
Yo, Zoe says, or Zoe, why don't readers have extra time? They're fully booked. Brumps. I mean, that's
good.
Must be the definition of it.
Yeah.
This was mainly because the Library of Alexandria. It was mainly because of the Library of Alexandria that the scholars of the museum were able to maintain scholarships at the highest level at almost all areas of learning. Wow. In appreciation of their achievements, Vitruvius, who you guys will know as the Vitruvius Man. You've seen the drawing of the Vitruvius Man. This is an architect. All right, here, I'll show you here. Which was later referenced by Da Vinci. Oh, there he is. What a handsome looking dude. Okay.
Marcus.
There he is.
Ooh. Very serious.
'Tis an author, right? And then you guys are all familiar with this. Oh, this is the Vitruvian Man. You guys have seen this depiction before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Done later by Da Vinci. Concerning itself with the human form and its geometric counterparts.
Exciting.
Oh, lost my place again. Registration and classification of books.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yes. This is driving me
Maybe
absolutely
just close
insane.
this table of contents.
This table of contents keeps ruining my whole vibe. There we go.
There we go.
All right. The fate of the Library of Alexandria. This is what you guys all really want to know about. Ooh, Mig, what's up? Welcome back for 4 months. Glad to have you here. The fate of the great wealth of books remains provocative and controversial. For centuries, the main point of contention was whether or not the library, or libraries, as two sites existed, survived until the Arab conquest of Alexandria in the 7th century. In the 21st century, however, the topic has cooled down, and there is a growing agreement among serious scholars that both libraries had both perished long before the Arab conquest. Scholars further believe that there's enough evidence to show that the destruction of the two libraries occurred at different times. The Royal Library was an unfortunate casualty of war. Here he is. In 48 BCE, Julius Caesar, who died by 28 stab wounds, became involved in a civil war in Egypt between Cleopatra and her brother, Ptolemy VIII. No, 13. Caesar sided with Cleopatra and was soon besieged by the Ptolemaic forces by land and sea in the Great Harbor. He realized that his only chance lay in setting fire to the enemy fleet, and it was by that drastic measure that he managed to gain the upper hand. Yet, he is remarkably silent regarding the extent of the destruction caused by the fire in the city itself. Subsequent authors, however, provided details of the ensuing destruction. Most depict its Plutarch, who, after a personal visit to Alexandria, explained that Caesar was forced to repel the danger by using fire, which spread from the dockyards and destroyed the great library. So he wasn't trying to set the library on fire, he was trying to set the enemy ships on fire, and in setting the dockyards aflame, burned the great library out of existence.
Yes.
What a major bummer. Should have emptied that out.
Yo.
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 Yo. Well, that's a little better than him actively going after the library.
Yo, but equally evocative and equally indicative is a statement by Strabo, who, during a long stay in the city from 25 to 20 BCE, expressed in an indirect manner his regards over the loss of the great library that had once...
Regret over the great library. Yeah?
Regrets over the loss of the great library that had once supplied Aristophanes and Hippocrates with the original reports of earlier discoveries, sources that were no longer there for him to consult. The daughter library, protected by the Serapeum, subsisted to the 4th century as long as paganism survived, but when Christianity became the one and only religion acknowledged throughout the empire, Emperor Theodosius I, in his zeal to wipe out all vestiges of paganism, issued a decree in 391 sanctioning the demolition of temples in Alexandria. So the temples were, of course, built to the various gods. Empowered by the imperial decree, Theophilus, Bishop of Alexandria, led an attack on the Serapeum, and he himself gave the first blow to the cult statue of Seraphis. His frenzied followers ran amok in the temple, destroying and plundering. When the destruction was complete, Theophilus ordered a church to be built on the site. Several testimonies written by contemporary or near-contemporary eyewitnesses testified the fact that the devastation was so extensive that Theodoret claims the temple was destroyed to its foundations. Ooh. This is the recounting. Brought destruction on the temple and made war on its contents. Only the foundations they could not only take away because of the magnitude of stone blocks, which they were unable to remove, but they spoiled and destroyed practically everything. Yo, Sedeca, the Trying to Play, thank you very much for this fine donation, sending happy, chill vibes to this terrific Tuesday. That's tricky to say. A third contemporary writes that having visited, on the inner side of the colonnade were built rooms, some which served as bookstores and were open to those who devoted their life to the cause of learning. It was these study rooms that exalted the city to be the first in philosophy. Some other rooms were set up for the worship of old gods. So, Amelia, this was destroyed because of Christianity. They wanted a Christian church there and not these pagan temples. So after it was burned to the ground, and only the foundation remained.
Jeez.
Whoa. Jeez.
Jeez.
Jeez. Jeez. Jeez.
Cheese.
Cheese?
Cheese.
Cheese.
Louise.
Cheese Louise. Poor library.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could study on about this forever and ever, but we are nearing the end of our stream for the day. There's the Thank you, Puppet Crew, for dropping the link. Appreciate you guys joining us here. Next time we'll learn about diamonds in space. Good to see you, galaxies. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining us, and let's hang tight just a split second. Ooh, all right, we can do that. Want to raid a real king? Why not? Never hurt anybody.
Nikita, how are you doing?
That's not Nikita.
Yes, it is. Nikita Eris.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, man. We need to have more coffee before we start. Nikita Harris. Thank you for being here for 4 months. Appreciate you. Yo! Yes, a coffee stream. We studied coffee and cocoa beans.
We did.
Cacao.
Cacao.
Bean. Cacao. All right. So we are going to raid in a glorious way. It's going to be very fun. This is our old friend, the real King Regis, who, if you guys play some Final Fantasy, might know King Regis. And this is the real one. That's right. Our man. Here we go. Thank you guys all for joining us. Our next stream is going to be Wholesome Wednesday with Pokemon Sword and Shield. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific. Then Fallen Order Friday is coming to a finale. So we hope you can join us for that as well. The Walking Dead continues on Sunday, and we are soon to announce our Saturday game. Thank you guys all for joining us. We appreciate you so much. Anybody ready for a raid?
Me.
I'm ready for a raid. Here we go. 3,
2,
1.
raid.
Raid.